What's good, fam? This is Frank White with Positive Mental Attitude today, and just want to give you a shout out. Hey, today let's talk about the white picket fence. The white picket fence. You know, yesterday I had a guy that was just complaining as usual, complaining about something, complaining about the economy, complaining about people, complaining about his sales not being where he wants them to be. And I told him, I said, bruh, you got to change your language, your communication, because you're always blaming. There's always an excuse of why you're not where you want to be. Now, if there's another guy that's got 3 times your sales, another guy's got 2 times your sales, and what's their excuse? You know, how is it that they are doing so much better than you? Well, me looking at all 3 of them, and one thing I notice is one person with the lowest amount of sales, always complaining, always blaming. There's always an excuse, the weather, etc., of why he's not where he wants to be. Versus these other 2, their attitude is, if it's got to be, it's up to me. Their attitude is, no matter what, I'm going to make this happen. You know, their attitude is so much different. They're focused, they're believing, and there's no excuses for them. If it's got to be, it's up to me. Now, growing up, my mother, she was a big hummer. I love to hear my mom hum. She would hum throughout the house doing laundry. She would be cleaning the house, doing dinner, and she loved to hum. Now, my mom told my brother and I that if you don't have anything good to say, you guys heard this? If you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything at all. And I'm convinced that sometimes we can prolong our success. We can prolong the things that we desire by staying so focused on the situation and murmuring and complaining about it so much. I believe that you can actually draw in more bad stuff. You can draw in more circumstances that are unwanted based off of the things that you're communicating. All right. We grew up in the inner city of Grand Rapids, Michigan, and my brother and I, we lived on Jefferson and Grand Rapids, and we had a neighbor named Twinkie. Now, Twinkie would come and we'd play outside. Well, at some point, Twinkie brought over a gun, a silver-plated gun. And Twinkie, this was his new toy, okay? So we went from playing, you know, Batman and Superman, playing with those toys, and now we playing with the guns. And for snacks, we would have government cheese and raw hot dogs because it costs too much to cook the hot dogs. So some of y'all know what I'm talking about. And later on, my mom and dad, we moved to a very beautiful neighborhood with a white picket fence in the front yard, a white picket fence. Now, I want you to think about this. This family who we grew up in this apartment, it was a converted house with an upper and lower apartment. We grew up with roaches and rats and not a whole lot of money at that time. And I don't recall my parents ever complaining and complaining about the government, blaming people around them. I just didn't grow up with that kind of environment, okay? Like I said, my mom was a big hummer. So I heard a whole lot more humming than I did anything else. Now, I want you to think about that. This family who had great poverty, kids who ate government cheese and raw hot dogs. And I remember being there at 5 years old, and I recall us moving when I was 12 years old. So we spent at least 7 years in that kind of environment. And then at some point at year 12, here we are, 12 years old, in a very nice neighborhood with a white picket fence. Now, one thing I can tell you is that my mom and dad stayed focused on that white picket fence. You know what I'm talking about? They stayed focused. And that's why I want to encourage you right now, man. Stay focused on your white picket fence. What's your white picket fence? It could be health, obviously, it could be financially, it could be the impact of what you want to do with your life, in your community, your legacy. But stay focused on your white picket fence. Don't be distracted by what's going on around you, the economy and the weather and people. Stay focused on your white picket fence. Because listen, it's going to happen. All right. Now, it could take a year. It could take 5 years, 10 years, but it's going to happen. All right. It's going to happen. Your future is so bright. You got so many opportunities coming your way. So many good things are about to happen for you. And I am excited about your opportunities. This is Frank White with Positive Mental Attitude, building each other up with encouragement.